Now, we have the Becky Lynch Savage Tweet of the Week, as it has been renamed. And this week it goes to who else? Becky Lynch. It's always fun when she roasts Corey Graves on Twitter. And I'm sure the two of them are just bosom buddies, but it's still fun. Somebody tweeted at Graves that they wish that he could have a romance angle with Becky Lynch. To which Graves responded, "Me too. She could use it." Well, you knew this wouldn't end well for him, and it didn't. Becky replied back and said, "Of all the things I could use in my life right now, a romance with a middle-aged emo poured into skinny jeans is not one of them. Maybe you should wait until Monday to reply, when you'll have help with what to say." And by the way, this would be an appropriate place for me to mention this too. Road Warrior Animal, I'm sure you've read about this. Road Warrior Animal, on his podcast, was none too happy about Becky's response to him, to what he said recently about her. I didn't talk about this last week, so I'll cover it now. Now, let me just say in defense of Road Warrior Animal, he did, when he made these initial comments about Becky Lynch, he did praise the women in WWE as having stolen the show at WrestleMania. They stole the show at TLC. He had some complimentary things to say about the women. But he also said that when you have the women headlining your shows and having the best matches on the card, there's an issue there. There's a problem in the wrestling business, he said. And boy, that didn't make people very happy when he said that. And really, the way he said it really was just a stupid thing for him to say. I mean, I could see where, in a way, he's saying, look, the guys have to step up their game because they're being outshined. You could take that as a compliment, right? About how good some of the women have been. But yeah, the way he said it, that I could see why people would be up in arms about that. But again, I personally, when I first heard him say that, took it as a dig at the men to, hey, guys, step up your game here. You're being outclassed. He went on to say in that interview that Becky Lynch should drop the whole man shtick. Oh, I'm the man. She should drop that and just be a pure white meat babyface who never quits. Those are the kinds of babyfaces that work, he said. When you come out there with an attitude and you're strutting around like a tough guy, anybody that's been in a fight can see right through that, and I'm just being realistic because that's what works in this business, he said. Imagine, by the way, giving Steve Austin that advice in 1997. Stop strutting around with an attitude like you own the place. Just be a pure white meat babyface. I would say Becky is doing just fine, strutting around with a chip on her shoulder. She's going to get herself a WrestleMania main event with Ronda Rousey out of it. Something that never would have happened had she taken advice from Road Warrior Animal. Becky was a pure white meat babyface for the last 3 years? People liked her. Didn't get her fuck all. So, they're trying something different. She found something that seemed to be working. She goes on social media. She burns people. She comes out on television. She burns people, calls them a bitch. People react. Is it going to be enough in the future for her to move tickets and things like that? We don't know yet. There's no sign of that yet. So we don't know, that it's necessarily working in that way, but it's working for her. It's gotten her more attention than she's had at any other point during her entire career. Why should she take advice now from Road Warrior Animal? Oh, don't do what's been working for you. You should do this instead. You know what? Thank God this guy didn't get an agent's job in WWE. If that's the kind of advice he'd be giving to Becky Lynch right now. But when Becky initially read those comments, she saw the headline on the WrestleZone website. WrestleZone had an article, and the headline was, Road Warrior Animal thinks Becky Lynch should just back off the man thing. Well, this all started because Becky fired back and said, the first 4 words of your headline are a lie. That being, Road Warrior Animal thinks. Turns out Animal didn't like that very much. And on his podcast, he said Becky needs to get over herself. She did. That's exactly what she did. She did get over herself, hence why she'll be in the main event of WrestleMania. But he said, when Becky Lynch can achieve what I've achieved in the sport of pro wrestling, then she can call me out. And he went on to talk about how you've won 1 title in WWE, Hawk and I won 22 titles in promotions all over the world. Sounds to me like Animal is the one who needs to get over himself. So, because he was booked to win titles in different promotions, Becky has no right to respond to his nonsense. Am I understanding this correctly? She hasn't earned her stripes, he said. What the hell does that even mean? Hasn't earned her stripes? This guy's living in a time warp. What Animal did worked for Animal. What Becky is doing right now has gotten her more attention, more press, more television time. You got to understand something. On these shows, Raw, SmackDown's 5 hours of television every week, these people are fighting for television time. She's gotten more television time in the last 3-4 months than she probably has all 3 years that she's been on the main roster. I don't think she needs any advice from Road Warrior Animal.